Well, good evening everybody, presuming we are now live, and welcome to AOR. My name is Sir Evil Dragon XXL. Joining me as per usual around our very beautiful long Hockenheim ring after this very long pause at the beginning of the stream is Mr. Ethan. How are you doing, my good friend?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. It's good to be back after last week's race. We're at Hockenheim. Not at the GP circuit though, we've travelled back in time. We're at the Hockenheim Classic. We're at the more notable, famous version of the circuit. Seen a lot of races happen there, a lot of history, as with many circuits on this calendar, but this one really does have a lot of history behind it. Most notably, Jim Clark's famous death here in a Formula 2 accident. But this time, we're in the GT3 cars. See what happens here. I honestly think this could be a bit of a Mercedes festival here, just with the long straights, Evil. I can sense this field is going to get very strung out very quickly. Or I could be completely wrong. We never know. There might be a dark horse here and there, but we've yet to see.
Well, indeed, the Hockenheim Ring, of course, this version last hosted a race in 2002. The original circuit, of course, dates back all the way to the 1930s. Built, of course, for Mercedes. The old Mercedes test track, this was called. 3 chicanes break up this circuit. All 3 of them on this game called something different to what they are now called, well, were called in real life. The Jim Clark chicane, of course, the first chicane. That is where Jim Clark tragically lost his life in 1968 in the Formula 2 accident, of course, that really cemented this and really was the reason this track now has barriers. Down to the Oscar, the tricky little left-right chicane. That is where, of course, Nelson Piquet came together with Salazar in 1982. The circuit, of course, is the 1982 version, for your fun fact. And then, of course, down the really towards the chicane, which is where the hairpin is in real life. That is the centre chicane. And you blast your way down the straight through the forests, down towards Mobile 1, the tricky, long, fast, flat right-hand, of course, where we now come onto the modern variation, down into the Scats curve, and then down towards what would be the skating ring. But luckily, from this game, doesn't have the skating ring, because it's just grass and barrier. So we hopefully won't see, well, because it's not raining, luckily, we won't see any Leclercs going off.
No, we won't see any cars having major offs, but hopefully the curbs here are very, very high. I'd say even more dangerous than the Nürburgring's curbs. Obviously, some of the chicanes here are very, very noticeable for causing incidents, but it's just dependent on how many drivers are going to cope with this circuit. Obviously, a lot of these drivers are going to be running very, very, very low aero settings on their cars, especially the Audis. I mean, I just don't know how they're going to cope with the pressure of just having to keep up. I mean, because the Audi is a quick car around some circuits, but it's a circuit like this where the Audi is just going to get just left behind. It's going to be noticeable just how slow that car is in a straight line. But Evil, we should probably talk about last race, because obviously there was a very interesting incident between 2 drivers, Tinnis and Gaza. Obviously that we were debating whether it would get taken to the stewards, and it did so. As a result of Tinnis's contact with Gaza and spinning him around, he received a 20-second penalty last race. I don't know if it gets applied on that race or if it gets applied on this one, but if it does get applied from last race, so if the stewards decide to apply that 20-second penalty from the results last race, that means Gaza will reclaim P3 in that race. But if it gets applied this race, then who knows? Yes, exactly. Who knows?
Yeah, well, Tinnis, so far, or Bodie, as he is most commonly known in the AOR forums, currently 2nd place in the championship, 0 victories for his name. We've seen before last season, Wolf, 0 victories, or 2nd place in the championship. So it's always going to be intriguing to see what he can do. He's got an opportunity to win today, but if he does get that penalty applied, that was going to be big trouble on a circuit which has seen its fair share of fantastic driving from touring cars all the way. The old DTM used to race here, I remember, all the way to the Formula 1, which circuit's most commonly known for. But really, you can't talk about Hockenheim. You can't talk about races around Hockenheim without really talking about Formula 1, can you, unfortunately?
But 'cause this is really the only track that, well, I mean, obviously we had the GT1s back in the day, the old good old GT1s. But it was mainly Formula 1, wasn't it, that raced here? And I just want to actually just correct myself. That penalty did get applied last race, so Tinnis did score 4th last race, and Gaza got that essential 3rd place. So that's given Gaza a bit of breathing space. Only 13 points behind her, but Jazzman, he's still 20 points off in 4th place. So Jazzman's still got some work to do today. He was fast last week. We were both astonished, weren't we, about his pace, but I just don't think this race is going to go in his hands. I just think these Mercedes are just going to dart off like they did at the Nürburgring and just blow the pace out and just control the race from there, really. I mean, it's 27 laps. It's not a long race, is it?
No, it very much isn't a long race. The circuit itself is, I believe, if my stats are correct, should be around, well, the normal version is 2.842 kilometers. The larger version is not loading, unfortunately, on my thing, so I'll let you know in a minute when the Google decides to load the length of the circuit, because my notes disappeared just then. But of course, yeah, like we mentioned, Formula 1 is the most commonly known with this circuit. The most famous race around here was pretty much the last one ever here, 2000 German Grand Prix, which saw Bruce Barrichello come from 17th to 1st. And that is something you don't see very often. Now, the circuit, I've just got it up now, it is 6.825 kilometres long, running its way around those simple corners. Really, 2 straights, pretty much. 2-3 straights, give or take, separated by 3 chicanes and that little infield section, even. We are definitely going to be in. Remember, it's narrow as well. So, remember what happened at Nürburgring a couple of seasons ago, even, where one car collected another and just kind of went around. The circuit's even thinner than that giant straight down the Nürburgring.
Yeah, so obviously spatial awareness is going to be a crucial part to this, especially on the first lap, going through some of the chicanes. I think by the time they get to the first chicane, the field would have spread out, and the session's started now, so we'll be heading into qualifying. But I do think by the time they get past that first chicane or around it, the field would have spread out a bit. Depends on what happens at turn 1, which obviously doesn't have that tarmac runoff. It's literally just grass, so it's going to be quite difficult to keep the car from spinning on the grass, because obviously the grass is not that very grippy, obviously. So it's going to be very easy to get the car rotated around or get dirt on the tyres. But I think it's going to be a clean sweep for the Mercedes here. I just don't see any other cars being able to compete with them, but I could be wrong. But just looking at this circuit from the and judging races from the past with circuits similar to speeds here, it's definitely a Mercedes win in my case. I put a bet on that. I reckon a Mercedes will win today.
Indeed. Mercedes always look good. Remember what happened at, for example, the old Daytona a couple of seasons ago? Mercedes, well, last 2 seasons ago, Mercedes dominated that race. It lapped everyone apart from one of the Audis. Of course, Group C used to race here even a long time ago, and back in the early 90s. So it'll be interesting to see, especially what GT3 cars can do around here, as a few drivers come on the circuit, but anything is possible around the circuit, but its simplicity is very much at the heart of German heritage.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's heritage. It does hold a place in some German drivers' hearts. Sebastian Vettel, one of those. I'm pretty sure he trained here a lot during his racing career. You mentioned simplicity, Evil, but even though this track may not appear to be that difficult, it's just a bunch of straights with those chicanes, it's still quite, because you got to be thinking about your gear changes, and if you screw up your gear changes on these long straights, that brings you, it puts you at risk of getting overtaken with people who aren't able to time their gear shifts correctly. I mean, here we come up to probably the most scary part of this. Guys that rides over the chicane there. It's very careful not to go off there. The bank's curve in here. It's through the forest. It's very reminiscent of the Nürburgring, with the trees and the grass and the close barriers waiting to collect you. It's very reminiscent of the giant green owl. Yeah, I don't think this track is simple whatsoever. I think it's it's got a lot of reverse psychology to it. I think it will catch drivers out if they're caught napping, if they're not concentrating hard enough, because it's going to be very easy to outbrake yourself from going to the back of someone or spin out on a curb. You know, I reckon it's going to catch the drivers out.
That's always possible, of course. They're coming down towards where the hairpin was. Right there, pretty much, is where the hairpin is. You take the right-hander now, roughly, around about now, down towards the stadium section. In the background, that's Skull going off the road, I just see there. Beautiful long shot, by the way, as Vector comes down into Mobile 1. Let's have a look at your guys up front. It's Gaz up coming through the bottom of the circuit. Through the last corner, you can just see, look how odd the entrance is for the last of the corners. Remember, it's pretty much a chicane to that pit lane, almost reminiscent of circuits of the period. Of course, Spain, Catalonia had a pit lane very similar to that, and they were a lot larger. The Nürburgring had one as well. So it's that kind of characteristic. You want to slow the cars down. Remember, back then, pit limiters didn't really exist, so they forced the cars to slow down. Well, Gaz has come through turn 1, down really into turn 2, this little kink. Then down towards the chicane. The first of 3 chicanes, like I mentioned earlier on, is down towards the Clark chicane. You come in about 280 odd kilometres an hour, 275 chucking on the brakes, down into the first part of the hit impact. Through he comes, hit the right side, get on the left, get on the power then, and then it's a long old drag on down towards the next part. That was one of the Lamborghini sitting behind, but now towards the second chicane, down towards the off curve course. Patrick DePire was the man who fatally died here a couple of years before the chicane was added in his honour to slow the cars down. Through the bank section you come, a small banking, but it really allows your cars just to flow down through the forest section. You could just see, imagining, of course, when if the chicanes weren't there, you would have no clue where the braking zone is down towards, of course, the Mobile 1 corner. The chicane, of course, just about breaks it up, split the braking zone then. No brake boards, remember, so you have to completely and utterly guess your braking marks. Does that okay, 140 kilometers an hour on the exit, and then back down towards Nelmas Street. You can just see all the crowds in the distance cheering and roaring as now you come down towards Mobile 1. Watch out for the little left-hand side. You'll see, of course, the concrete brake there. Turn the car in, the rear end will want to step out, of course, high speed coming into a really shallow section. Look at wide. Might get himself invalidated if he's not careful into the Shat's curve then. No gravel trap to dampen your blows if you go wide there. Down, of course, this is the section everyone knows, into the penultimate corner. Once you don't do too wide on those curves, and then through the final corner, just let the car run yourself out wide onto those curves because you'll get away with it. But don't be too greedy as it comes across the line. This should be around about an invalid lap time. No, it's a 2-minute performance, so about the same lap time as you expect at Bathurst.
Right, let's just look at the time difference there. A full second between Jazzman and Gaza. And let's see what the Audis can do. Vectro does he doesn't even set a lap time, guessing he was invalidated. Leonardo, 2 minutes 6.6. Tinnis, 2 minutes 6.0. What about Jam, a 2 minute 9? Oh dear. Big Kiddo, 2 minutes 7. You can really see the Audis just do not get along here. Papano, 2 minutes 7.5. Lewis, 2 minute 8.6. Yeah, the Audis have got no pace here, and it's not really surprising at all. I was kind of expecting them to not have pace, judging from the fact that they struggled at many other circuits that were in a similar stature to this one. Yeah, Boyraxa there goes to P2, so it's a Mercedes front row at the moment. No surprises there.
Jazzman, P3 right now in the Lamborghini. That is a bit of a surprise right now. He's getting a nice turn. That's Jazz, you can see that. It's up the road in the background. You can see how much of a banking the grass banks are, of course. It's characteristic, of course, real life. It's a huge bank there where was once the old oval park circuit. It used to be completely banked all the way down there, of course. They changed it and tightened it up over the years. And unfortunately, we don't have a 1930s version of this circuit. I would love to do it. Right now, Tinnis in the pit lane. If I was these drivers, you want to be going out and staying out a long time, because that Boyraxa only, like, 67 thousandths ahead of Jazzman. Jazzman's up by a 10th.
Up, yeah.
Through the Schatz curve, of course. One time, you don't go too wide here, because you can really chuck cars. Someone else has been off there, because you can see all the tyre marks getting kicked up. And bits and bobs there. Through he comes, the penultimate corner. Rear end steps out. That's characteristic of that car. Lamborghini struggles through this circuit. I was a little bit talking to a Jazzman earlier on in the week. He said the car was a little bit unstable. And let's see, there's no P2, no, down 43
lost time.
Yeah,
See, he was nearly up by 2 tenths, wasn't he? And then he lost it all in that final sector. See, now I do feel bad for the Audi drivers here, because I reckon this track should have been the more modern version of Hockenheim. So I feel the Audi drivers, they've had... Leonardo goes 4th, not bad to be fair. He's got the pace, but those Mercedes have opened up the gap a bit more. Gaza noticeably puts it to over a second. But yeah, I feel the Audi drivers have kind of been just left to hang dry here. They haven't really had a track where they can perform well, other than Watkins Glen, where Papano got a podium. There goes an Audi drifting there. So the cars just do not stand a chance, really. It's kind of a Joker race, this, I think.
Yeah, a lot of drivers struggling. You can see that. Everyone low within 4 seconds. We're waiting on Vector, the last person, to set a lap time. Matched the curves quite heavily there, and you can see the rear end stepping up. Oh, in the background, is that Cameron? It's not, it's his teammate. So,
yes, sir, yeah.
Yes, as he's gone into the pit lane, struggling very much. Now, remember, of course, this pit lane is very narrow as well. I mean, that you can see there, the white line, that is your pit box. The mechanics will stand outside that line, so it's a very thin area for the drivers to avoid hitting all the pit mechanics. Luckily on this game, though, Ethan, you can't hit them and they don't get injured because you go through them. But I imagine that must have been a nightmare in real life.
Yeah, especially because obviously safety regulations and all that weren't really a thing back in the day. It was just bring a car, do some racing. I mean, obviously back in the day pit stops were much longer due to the equipment they had. Obviously they didn't have the high-tech impact guns that F1 teams and just most general high-tier performance teams have now. And obviously they just had big, nice, long ratchets to undo the locking wheel nuts on the cars back in the day. Now obviously there was like 5 or 6 wheel nuts on the car, not just the one center wheel on most of them. Very similar to NASCAR, obviously had the multiple wheel nuts on the tyres, so the pit stops were lengthy back in the day and also very dangerous. But no one really gave a damn back then, did they?
No, they very much did, and that was trying to figure out who was next. That was Timmett who was going past Scott. There he came out the pit lane, and yeah, of course, the old days, of course, they had the wheel guns. They weren't as sophisticated, shall we say, as we see nowadays. Like you said, touring cars, you had the old F1,
there
the old
Lewis.
Scolds. Yeah, spinning around, that's easy to do. He's been struggling quite a little bit there, and that's with the Big Kid Daddy going past him there, I believe, as well. Yes, it is. So far, P10 for him. It's going to be a good face, actually, for these drivers who are stuck behind the Audis, because the Audis are going to drop backwards. Waiting for Vector to set a lap time, which he does there. 5.3 seconds off the pace, though. He's struggling. No great grip. He doesn't look very much like he's got a lot of confidence again in the Audi. Didn't have it last week as well, did he?
No, Vector, yeah, he struggled a bit. I don't know how much practice he's done. Obviously, that's down to him, but he's not. Oh yeah, he is last. He is quite far off. I thought he was further up. So I wonder who is a bit down though. Is Tinus? Have you noticed he's in 7th place behind the Audi? I mean, granted, it's only literally like a couple thousandths of a second, but that's still not exactly where he needs to be. Tinus. He needs to be further up. I mean, he's being outpaced by an Audi at the moment.
Wolf and Boy Raxum, meanwhile, they're separated by 100 thousandths of a second. That is incredibly close. That is what this track can do. Remember, only just over 2 tenths up the road is Jazzman, who's doing an incredible job. That is not Jazzman. Where's Jazzman? There he is. Going down towards Yost curve. No, he's going down towards the Clark curve. Okay, might I say that does it pretty okay there. Bit wide on the exit for good measure. Yeah, as who's that going on? That's
Tinnis goes P3. So yeah, he does have the pace. He's just left it late. Still though, it's like
4th and 5th. Look how close they are.
They are very close. I mean, Jam is not exactly doing bad in the Audis. He is the fastest Audi, which is quite good to see. Jam has had a bit of pace these last couple of races. It's good to see he's kind of grown out of his shell a bit, but
there goes
the top 5. Oh, he's in the 2-minute 5s now, so he is lapping fast. That Audi's quite fast. It just depends on the setup you have, by the looks of it. And it seems Jam's got that car hooked up quite well.
Yeah, Leonardo through the last corner then in the other Lamborghini. Let's see what he can do. Well, 3 minutes to go in qualifying, and there does he go. Does he improve? No, down 10th of a second there. Kevin Myers down there at 8th. We've got ESA and 9. Big Kid Daddy. We'll see who's the next couple of cars. It's Coco, Rampano, and I think one of the other cars. Let's see, that is Wolf coming through the bottom of the circuit. And it's the Singressable blue and silver machine. Let's see then, Wolf. So far, P5, he's won very recently, of course, at Sakito. So far, goes even quick, goes P3 right now. Puts himself a little more closer to Jazzman, but again, look how close. 3rd, 4th, 5th are. Let's see who we next. It's Papano and everyone else. Vector is in the pit lane. Vector up now to P13. Skull last. What about Skull? Does he improve? The answer to that is no. You can see, look, Skull trying to get a toe right now. That is of
Jazzman.
Yeah, Jazzman, and Skull's not really doing any good running that wide off the circuit as our Camo is down there in 15th position. Kevin Myers in the pit lane. So you want to be coming out. If you're coming out, you want to be coming out now, because obviously not going to get a lap in. And it doesn't look like he's coming out.
No, it's not at the moment. Gaza though, he's just out in his own little world, over a second ahead at the moment. I mean, I'm expecting that gap to come down a little bit more, but I don't expect it to be like within 3/10. I don't expect Jazzman to have that much pace. This is where Jazzman will probably go pole, but I still doubt that. I mean, for all we know, Gaza could be on an even faster lap for all we know. But that top 7 all within 2 seconds, which is quite nice to see. It's a few more cars than I expected. I was expecting, you know, the usual guys, you know, guys like Boyraxter, Jazzman, Tinnis and all that to have their own little group together and pull away and then leave the rest of the field. I mean, who's that in front of that? It's either Lewis or Vectro.
Vectro it is. Vectro, behind him Scold as well. So Vectro giving Jazzman a nice long toe down the straight.
No, Jazzman's backed off.
Yeah, Jazzman's backed off, so he doesn't want to be any part of that, and he's finished his lap. So Jazzman, I think, I realised he wasn't going to get another lap in there. Maybe if possible, but didn't want to get too much into the traffic. Walk through the last corner then. He's got a good chance of getting second in this race. Needs to find 60,000 of a second, give or take, 68,000 if my calculations are correct right now. Where is he? Coming to the line? Does he improve? The answer to that is yes.
He's within 5/10 of Gaza.
Man, it's a good
It's not bad.
indeed.
That is very good. That puts him on second on the row. But it's Boy Raxer who's got the toe on Gaza. These guys are working together, and why not? I mean, this track's so long and you've got so many straights to work together. So Gaza is just far enough ahead of Boy Raxer that he's not going to give him dirty air, but give him a good toe. So I reckon Boy Raxer could jump him a few places, but whether it's going to be enough to displace Dylan from second, I don't know.
Let's see, these two have worked so far so good this season, of course. A few mistakes here and there from one or the other, but right now, let's see. Sector split coming up just a moment time, and we'll find out, is he up? And I'm imagining he's going to be up by a big gap. Let's see, yeah, 6 tenths up the road. That'll put him very close to Wolf. And this is a section you really don't want to be stuck behind your car. It's a tricky little section there. Get out of the way now. So maybe they're hearing what I'm saying, or have figured this out. Don't want to have traffic here. Remember, if you've got a setup, of course, they've got more downforce on, you're going to be really quick through this last sector. A little bit wide there, Trinity on the exit. That might have cost him a 10.42. Still looks to be like he's going to get in the top 3. As long as he doesn't go too wide, does do it. And Tinner's got in about at that time. Bioraxa goes third, but does not displace Wolf. And now we're just waiting on, I think, Vectro. We've got Thomas and Scold having a bit of a battle for the Silver Spoon.
I think Boy Raxer just slightly lost it in the final section. It seems like his car was suffering from an understeer at the front. He just had to drop down a gear to get the car turned in a bit, and I think that killed off some of his time. Because I reckon he would have probably displaced Dylan, but it seems like he just struggled to get the car turned in. But yeah, we have the bottom 3 battling it out. Vectro and Scold very much out of place. So Thomas goes wide. He had a good race last race. I'm pretty sure he finished in the top 10. But yeah, Scold and Vectro, they are absolutely nowhere where they should be. Again, another race in a row where they're just not on the pace.
Oh,
As Jazzman's disconnected.
And that
I don't think he's going to be able to race then.
good indeed. Jazzman's disconnected, and that could be issues there. Vettel got invalid that time, and that is...
It's not the host though, so I'm hoping we won't have a mass disconnection. But yeah, there's qualifying done. Jazzman's disconnected. That's a blow to his championship standings there. He's not going to score any points now, but that's a very, very dominant, qualifying from the Mercedes. A top 3 lockout from the Mercedes V8. No surprise there. It's Tinnis, the lone Italian stallion driver. And then Leonardo in 5th. Jam, very, very good qualifying from him in 6th position. Essa, a very, very nice qualifying from him as well in 7th. And then the remaining 3 drivers of the top 10, Kevin Meyer, Big Kid Daddy and Coco SPR. And then obviously we got a few other drivers out of place. But
yes, indeed. But that's a big shock for Jazzman.
Yeah, very big shock.
Out. And remember, he is the man so far quite up in the championship. If not leading the championship, he's got about
4th.
4th, actually. My bad there. I thought he was leading. That was a mistake there. But the top guys also very close. 13 points, give or take, separates the top 2 in the championship. So it's all really down to those guys to see what they can do.
Yeah, Jazzman, he was 20 points off of Gaza as of now. Obviously, that was a bit less until Jazzman. Gaza got his 3rd place given back to him. But yeah, he's not going to score any points now, so that's quite crucial. That's going to be his 2nd DNF in his championship. And those DNFs do really hurt because the amount of points that can be scored here. I mean, if I keep calling him Jazzman. Gaza wins today, that's going to be another 35 points to his name. And that's 35 points Jazzman can not really do with because he's 20 points behind. He's going to be nearly 55 points behind at this point now.
Yeah. Unless
Gaza retires. So, yeah, that's not helped him whatsoever. And we're on round 8. There's only 2 rounds left. So, I think this may have just secured the championship for Gaza at the moment.
Yeah, it's looking good for Gaza right now. His championship rivals are all in trouble, are all disconnecting out of the session, which is not what you want to be doing. And for poor Jazzman, you have only to feel for absolutely anything. He's going to be gutted. He's probably slamming the steering wheel. He cannot believe it. And by the looks, probably on the mechanics' faces, they're going to be absolutely furious. And I just imagine Jazzman right now is going to be very disappointed. Unfortunately, you can't do a lot about it. Disconnection happens now and then. But that means, say, Bayraktar's up to 3rd, Tin is in 4th, and everyone jumps up a position. Let's hope, for us sake, we don't end up having some mass disconnections, because it looks to me like there could be some in the distance, but let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I mean, obviously we struck with a few mass disconnections last season as Jazzman's rejoined the session, but yeah, he's not going to be able to race. So, and unfortunately he disconnected right at the end of qualifying where you cannot rejoin. If he had disconnected earlier, he may have had a chance to join back, but yeah, I don't think Jazzman's in the championship run anymore. I think that might have just kicked him out of it. So it's just going to be down to the top 3, I reckon now. Gaza, Tinnis and Bayraktar are going to be the top 3. Dylan's ran himself off the road. But yeah, I don't think Jazzman will be able to challenge for the title anymore. I think that's gone for him now, so it's just the top 3 who can challenge it now.
Yeah, indeed, that's going to be disappointing for that. Wolf, I think just got caught out there, isn't it? You can just see how thin this circuit is, run more down the back, and you can just see how many cars are up ahead, and you can just see that it's what, 2 cars? You're not going to go 3 wide on this circuit. If you go 3 wide, I think there's going to be a massive accident. 1 car on the grass, that's camo. Everyone's pushing onward down towards the second chicane. Remember, watch out for the Oscar reward. Jazzman said don't do anything reckless and try not to go side by side. Pretty much almost like Macau, Ethan. It's almost a definite yellow flag set because look how narrow it is. We'll look, for example, through Tinnis, and we'll just come through that.
Yeah.
We'll just see how narrow it gets.
Yeah, Macau, very much a very narrow circuit. We obviously see there's a lot of pile-ups there, especially GT cars. But yeah, Alright, at the entry to the chicane, it's quite wide, but once you get to the apex, that's when you notice, actually, yeah, I can't overtake there. You're going to clip that inside curb, probably go shooting off one way or the other, probably towards the stack of tyres just waiting there for you. But yeah, I hope people take it sensibly here. I mean, it's very easy to just get into that mindset of just sending it on lap 1 when really this track is not the place you want to do it, because it's going to be a high-speed accident if you do send it, and that's just not worth the risk, especially with how long the circuit is.
Indeed, remember, and I admitting scolds when I was practicing to try to see what happened if we went side by side there. So let's say I lost all 4 of my tyres, which in a GT3 car is very difficult. So just anything can happen. In fact, I have one car a little bit wide there, I just noticed there, but everyone seems to have got themselves all sorted. As we now come down to towards the bottom of the circuit, down towards the infield, the Mobile 1 corner. And then we should just be getting ready to go 2 by 2 on the exit of this corner. Around about
now, yeah? No,
just on the exit.
Maybe, yeah. It'd be so much cooler. I mean, GT3 cars are pretty cool, but how much would you love to see this be GT1 cars?
Oh, I would adore it. And I think everyone here knows I love GT1 or even old F1 cars. Well, here we go then. 2 by 2 by 2. No result apart from last place. It's all on his own because that's De Thomas. Jazzman out before the session has even begun. So, Gaza, has he got a chance to pull away the championship? His fellow rivals behind him. All he has to look forward to is now is sunshine and happiness as long as it goes well. But will it go well? Because the German Grand Prix is underway then. And it's a good start from Gaza, a good start from everyone then. Wolf gets a horrible start there and he's down swap 1-2 positions there. Almost contact there with one of the Lamborghinis, but everyone though seems to be clean away off the start there. There goes one of the Audis, another Audi off the road as well, as that is Skuld and Vector having a bit of a battle there. Vector off a few positions there already, but now look as we come our way down towards the first corner. It's Boyratza having a look on his teammate Gaza down towards second of the first chicane. Also in the background there, the Lamborghini having a look on the outside of Wolf. But everyone cleaned away. No, they're not, because there's contact there. Dear. I think Wolf just about got away with it there. And one car off in the back.
Oh no, that's Kevin Myers. Kevin Myers gone. Sorry to interrupt you now. I just saw tyres flying up everywhere. But you're all right. Kevin Myers gone. And he's lost his rear wing. Yeah, you see Dylan just shoved it his way up the inside of tennis. But here we come, Evil. The most dangerous part of the circuit.
Everyone's going to be nice and cautious on this opening lap. They are very nice and cautious on this opening lap, but let's have a look. Yeah, no rear rain like you said, Ethan, and that is almost certainly his race done it up for it's even begun. Fast the camera angle as the camera shakes and weaves its way down, but look, Boyratza having a look up the inside there temporarily. He has a little look, can't do a lot about it, has to back out then for the time being. Wolf on a charge as well. He's regained his third position from Tinners. Behind them as well, as we come on the exit chicane, everyone is clean away just about that. As you can see, Skuld having a horrible time at the start of this race. He's overtaken no cars apart from Kevin, who's out pretty much already. You can see him in the background there, struggling away. Tinnus had a good chance at the beginning, still right there with Wolf, and the top two are very close together as well. This is good to see at the start of this race. Mercedes, Lamborghini, then comes Coco, the unknown dark horse of this race potentially. We know the Ferrari's quick, he leads the gaggle of Audis, and look at them all, Ethan, already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Audis, they're all in a big line, and that there I think is one of them going off. It's camo, and you'll have no grip out there. It's almost like a skating ring off the road right there.
Jams had a really bad start. He was like up in 6th, wasn't he? Now he's 14th.
He's had a mistake somewhere.
That is not a good start from him, but these guys, they're all going to be drafting each other. Leonardo, not a bad start from him. 5th place Coco, like you said, also. That car very fast in a straight line.
Looking at it. He's having a look. Is he up the inside? I think he has a little lunge there. He wants to be careful though. Doesn't want to hit his teammate. What's happened? Wolf is having a look around the outside as well. Oh!
That's Leonardo.
That is Leonardo, and I think someone else has gone off as well. No, it's only Leonardo. He lost the rear brakes, and that's how easy it is. He gets well out of the way, makes sure no one else is in trouble. But Gaza leaves this race by Raxer, Wolf, then Tinners. That was very lucky no one got involved in that. Then comes that gaggle of cars there. Bit of a mistake there from Tinners, but no, nothing anyone can do about avoiding any mistakes there, as that was Vector almost into the wall at the horse curve as well. And these guys pushing very hard. To Vector, a good exit for him.
That's Boy Raxer. Boy Raxer's gone off.
In trouble as well. It's going wrong. And now, I presume he's gone on the curb. He's getting swamped there.
Is that damage? His car's crabbing a lot to the left. I think he may have damage, you know. Look at the way his car keeps darting to the left consistently. I think he might be damaged, Evil. Papano looking up the inside of Vectro. I reckon Boy Raxer has damage. He was consistently pulling to the left. Did you see that? Lewis cut in the corner there. Didn't even bother trying to get back onto the track. A bad mark from me there, Lewis. I want to keep it on the track limits, but
looks like he has got damage. Where is that?
Boy Raxer, he's definitely picked up some damage. Did you see how he's consistently pulling to the left?
We'll see if he comes in the pit lane, but what that means now is Gazza leads from Wolf. Coco in the Ferrari of all things. I've never thought I'd say there's a Ferrari is up on the podium for the time being. The Audi's in fourth. Then comes Tinnis, who's down in fifth.
I reckon there may have been contact. I reckon Tinnis may have had contact. Look at Vectro up the inside of Big Kid Daddy. Got my words twisted. Wasn't expecting that. It just caught me off. Yeah, Boy Rax is in, yeah.
Look, Vector's getting swamped though. Straight away back and coming. He has a bit of power. He got downboards, but up the inside comes the Audi. Lamborghini, around the outside goes the Audi. The other Audi coming with him. That's up Papano. When the background Scott has a big tag snap of contact there down the straight nearly. And all the time you've got to leave her the space down the straight, my friend. As Papano swerving away there. As now, down the inside, how's the look? Big Kid Daddy has the inside line. Can he get the move there? Almost free abreast there. Vector in the middle. On the inside comes Big Kid Daddy. On the outside is Papano. Papano squeezed off the road. There's contact there on the exit. That was always going to happen. Luckily, they managed to avoid each other and don't end up off the circuit. And now on the exit comes the other car as well. And that there is Leonardo side by side down towards the Oz curve. And surely Barney has to back out of that one. He does.
That was pretty much a diamond formation coming down the straight. That was very, very nice to see. Lewis picks up a penalty. No surprise there whatsoever. He pretty much did just not give a damn about cutting that corner. Meanwhile, Camo has come in. Thomas came in, and so did Kevin. Obviously earlier. Boy Raxel obviously came in as well.
Look up the inside.
Tinnis hasn't got much pace.
Yeah, Tinnis, it looks like he's got more downforce. There in the background, you can just see them all skating through. Scott there, I think he's gone straight on again nearly, is he not? He's gone over the curve just about. Got away with it this time around, but yeah, look. Down the back, Camo to Thomas. Boy Raxel down there in 12th position. This has been a God blessing for your championship leader, and that there is now Tinnis losing the rear. Be careful to get himself too wide. Nice drift though.
He's going to hurt his tyres. He's going to hurt his tyres doing that.
Yeah, well, oh, Vextro. What's happened there? He's made a mistake. Mistake there, he's down in 8th there, so he's gone off, so I think he must have gone wide down towards Mobile 1. We just caught the end of it there. But he's now been overtaken by 1-2 cars, and now Vectro might have a little look again. He's very confident in that last corner, and I think Leo's just realised that he's not having any opportunity to come through. In the background, that's Jam coming in, and that's for his scheduled stop. And I think he wants to get himself some cleanup. You've got an issue right now. Look at the top two. Look how quick they're pulling away. These guys are all battling. These two are slipstreaming each other and just pulling away.
Exactly. It's basically like NASCAR. They're working together. And that's the gap they're going to be able to support. And they're eventually, that gap could amount to them being able to be a full pit stop ahead. So Dylan's in a really good spot, and he's latched onto a driver who is lapping, actually, slower than Dylan. So we could have a repeat of Sakito here, potentially.
Yeah, we always could. Big Kid Daddy and Leonardo battling together. Leonardo poor exit there. This is going to allow Vectro a big slingshot there as the cameraman decides he doesn't want to stay there. But of course, nothing you can do. Vectro's just stuck there like a brick wall. And he just wants to come through, but there's no space there. Leonardo closing up there. Just be careful, get on the inside curve, and you can go off the road very easy. Vectro seems very comfortable here. Right now, he's doing a lot better than his teammates. So saying that, Scold's only not a little bit too far behind, about a couple of seconds. Wolf up front, there he is, battling away with Gaza. Gaza, again, looks like he's under pressure again. A bit of an exit there he didn't want, and now, where is Wolf going to go? He can't surely go around the outside here into Mobile 1. That'd be very, very, very brave. He's having a look then round the outside towards Mobile 1. Surely there's nowhere through there. We'll have to back off because they'll end up being an almighty of a shunt if you try it there. You can do it, but not really an opportunity. Now he's around the outside down towards the Schatz curve. Gaza plants his car absolutely where he needs it to go. In the background there is Tinner stuck behind the Ferrari of Coco. Then comes ESS Leonardo and Big Kid Daddy. Vector has gone off the road again. He's having no luck on the exit of Mobile 1, and that is his teammate now behind him as well. Papano's gone off the road as well. I just noticed there he's spun the car as well. So Mobile 1, Ethan, proving a bit of a difficult corner, but then again you are coming at it at a rate of knots. Yeah,
you very much are. It's a bank corner. There's a lot of undulations, so it may cause the car to step out a bit. But these guys are working to get. Look at the gap they've got. 5 seconds, nearly 6 seconds. Dylan, once again, just a little bit faster that lap. He's trying to suss Gaza out in some places by trying to go to the outside, which is making Gaza think this guy's very, very confident. You see, Dylan's actually on half throttle. He doesn't want to overtake him whatsoever. He just wants to sit behind him, and he can save fuel just sitting behind him, going on half throttles. He's not using as much fuel as Tinnis loses the rear end. His time, Leonardo really mounted the curbs there. Coco in that Ferrari, the car is very fast. I remember Bathurst, obviously granted Bathurst very high altitude circuit, and the Ferrari being a turbocharged car was very fast, but he's holding his own against Tinnis, who is obviously lapping much faster, but Tinnis just can't seem to get the rear end hooked up. And Skold and Vectro battling away with each other in an intra-team battle. Vectro currently winning that team battle by a fair margin. Lewis has not been on the performance he usually is, and he's getting absolutely wiped by his teammate at the moment, but these guys have fallen quite a way down at the moment.
Meanwhile, that is Leonardo having a look up the inside there. Big Kid Daddy isn't going to do it there up the inside into the centre chicane. We'll be a little bit optimistic there. Wolf, meanwhile, dropped down 5 steps, and you want to be careful, of course. You don't drop yourself too far back. You can see, though, look at the gap. They've got 6 seconds up the road. Vectro battling away with his teammate, Papano in the background. There we got to Thomas somewhere with Kevin Myers. And that really shows how Kevin Myers has managed to get away with that damage he had earlier on, because he's managed to get ahead of De Thomas and Camo as well. So those Camo must have had another accident somewhere, because we really didn't catch, unless I'm very much mistaken, because he's dropped himself very much down the back of the field.
Yeah, I mean, obviously looking at his pace as well, he's not really on it. I mean, he's nearly 7/10 up there. But the field, it's in a nice group at the moment. We've obviously got this. Oh, there's a car in the background. That's Lewis. I think that's Lewis. No, it's not Lewis. It's Vectro. Never mind.
That was a huge off.
He hit the wall, but he's not going into the. Wow.
He couldn't go in. He was the wrong side of the road. He'd got a penalty if he did it there, so he has to go out on another lap. But that was a monumental spin there.
He got on the grass, didn't he?
Yeah, got on the grass on the outside. We mentioned it.
He would definitely have damage. Look at the front of his car.
Yeah, you mentioned it's a skating ring when you go off the road there, and that was a beautiful shot, I must say. Unfortunately, Vector in the wall, but you can see get wide there, and the grass is slippery out there. So remember, even in real life, it's like a drag strip. But it is nowadays, and even on this game, it's still very slippery, very treacherous, carrying a lot of speed down there. As well, it's narrower than it is in the current version. Unfortunately, Vector caught out. I thought that was Lewis because of the way the angle was. Vector was ahead then, but no, Vector got on the curb, spun the car around, and background you saw Papano popping into existence, and now he is, look at it, struggling there, and that looks to be a long afternoon for the Dutchman, of course, who is celebrating his mother's birthday there as well, so hopefully everything going well there. Meanwhile, Wolf again closing up. He's having this moment where he closes up and then he drops back, then he closes up. He's just trying to edge out that time. No way again around the outside there. We'll right on board with Wolf. You can see that he's just got his car confident, and he had a lot of practice and he had a lot of time and effort he's been putting in on this setup. Just trying to make sure everything works. And we'll have a look at the penalty quickly. It's only 1 second there for Stold and Papano. That for those are the battles there. Now, he's going to have to completely follow Gaza right now. If he loses the slipstream, it's almost over, isn't it?
Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah, he's going to end up dropping back. if he hasn't got a drafting partner, he's just going to fall back behind. And Lewis hasn't got one. Somebody's gone off. Papano's off.
Yeah,
Vectro is going kind of slow as well. I don't know if something may have happened between those two. We don't know. Just caught the back end of it, didn't we?
Yes.
Definitely has to come in.
Well, look at those pit there, by the way. You just come in it, look at the skin. You want to be careful you slow it down earlier, because there is the pit line. Vectro slows it down on the T. Meanwhile, Wolf up there, second position. Closing up to Gaza more and more. And these two battling is only pulling them away, so to speak, of the race. And Papano in as well. So I'm wondering, was there a little bit of contact there potentially? It was always possible.
Yeah, always is very much possible. Just look at the gap. It's now gone up to. It was like about 7 seconds. It's now just jumped up to 8 that much quickly. These guys are pulling away so fast. It's unbelievable. But that's just what drafting can do. Is Tinnis has actually got past Coco. So I'll probably explain why the gap opened up. Because those guys are battling. There's Estes on. Oh no, he's lost it. There's the tank slap for Big Kid Daddy straight into the side of him. Oh no, and he's hit the barrier as well. Oh, don't reverse back onto the track. Oh, he's going to get stuck again. Oh, Esther just got a huge tank slapper from... Because obviously he counter-steered. The car came back around. He got the car centered. And then that weight just shifted over and just sent his car across the track. And Big Kidani pretty much just had nowhere to go. That's the second race in a row. He's been taken out by another car due to an accident.
Oh, well, luck so far this season. It's very lucky, I must say, for Reyes. That didn't go over. That was almost at the angle you don't want to be. That's a banking as well. If you hit a car on that area, you are going over. So he is a very lucky cookie indeed. They're still battling.
There's Boy Raxo in the background, by the way. So he's coming and making his way through. Lewis, in all of that, has jumped up to 6th.
Remind he doesn't go off the road, of course,
yes.
But as we say it, he's currently on the road, so we haven't cursed him, luckily for us, through the little kink there. You can see how narrow it is, and then it widens up, then it narrows. I don't know what happened there for that to happen, but whatever happened is interesting. He sits himself down in no man's land now as the battle really is coming away from their Vetro. He's down there in their position. We've got a battle that is, that's Big Kid Daddy and ESS in the pit. Then by Raxa, now up to 7th position in this race. He's coming through pretty well. I'm saying he was battling. It's Kevin Myers stuck behind Papano. So those two wins have they've been having a few battles this season, those two, and yet again they're coming together, and they should jump Big Kid Daddy and ESS. If I'm
they
not
definitely
mistaken.
will. They definitely will. Big Kid Daddy will have a bit of damage on him. Esther, I'm not too sure because they were both side impacts. He got hit in the side by Big Kid Daddy, and then the side of his car hit the wall. He does leave quite early, but
they both leave at the same time.
Yeah, they both have jumped him. Yeah, big gap there. It's coming down. That gap is coming down. Tinnis is catching.
Yeah, Tinnis is 6.5. We don't know, of course, if this is just the telemetry having a little bit of a play on us right now, but you can see that there is the two Mercedes, then there is the Lamborghini pulling away from the Ferraris, doing a beautiful job ahead of course, Leonardo down there in P5. You might just be able to see Scald popping through the back of the shot there in a few years' time, because you're probably just about to see him on Leonardo, just you'll see him, there he is, in the background there, and that just shows how far back he is right now, having a torrid time of it. One car's just spun, that is Parno. Meanwhile, he's had a bit of an off down there at the Clark chicane, so spinning that one around, and again, not having the best of time in the Audi either.
I've seen him on the forums. He was struggling to keep the rear end in check. Braking early. Uh-oh. Something's just happened. What's going on? He's having an issue. Why he just went straight on them?
He might have had a bit of an issue there. Something doesn't seem right with him.
And he's short shifting as well. Yeah, he's got an issue. I think he may have an issue, so just keep an eye on him.
Keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, up front, we'll have a look at that though, because those two closing up. We'll keep a little eye on Papano.
Yeah, Papano's just dropped down to 15th now. I sense him retiring.
Another issue there. He's gone straight on. And chicane. He spun the car.
Out.
This isn't looking
There,
good for
there's a
for
retirement.
Ricardo.
There it is.
There it is, gone. So, 2 drivers out of this race so far. And what that for me to say is that's all going to help other drivers come up in the championship when you retire like this. Although he was down the back, he didn't do himself the best job. Meanwhile, Leonardo closing up to Coco, which its abbreviation is simply what you imagine it to be. But nonetheless, it's Gaza, VSR, then comes Tint, then comes Cott, then comes Leo, Skull ahead of Boy, then comes Jamie McGee, then background is Vectro down there ahead of Kev. D Weird Line is in 11th, ESS down there in 12th, big ahead of Camo, who is having a very lonely race, I must say, down there in 14th position. I'm certain he's imagining more happier things right now than being here.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, but he's scoring points at least. He's not technically finishing last because obviously Jazzman never started in tennis.
What's leading?
He is leading. He is leading. What's happened there?
And we just missed that then, and because that car, they're very similar liveries sometimes, and you can play the trick on the eye. But
yeah, look
Gaza,
at the lap time. Yeah, I think Gaza may have had enough somewhere. Mobile 1 maybe?
it must have been. I was just looking at them there, and they were not too separated, but then all of a sudden, back gap, and now Gaza down in second. So Wolf suddenly coming alive at the second part of this season. That is the underlying factor of this race. He is
pulling
quick.
away. He does pull away slightly. Scott's in.
Go then.
Is that a pit stop? Oh no, he's crabbing. He's crabbing. That looks like damage potentially. I think I may have just saw a bit of crabbing there.
Let's see if it's a long stop. It'll be trouble, and it looks like it is a long stop. So it looks like.
Oh no, never mind. No, never mind.
So,
and he's got traction control. He doesn't usually run traction control. Strange.
it's a very rare thing.
Gaz is losing a lot of time.
Yeah, I think he's just cracked under pressure finally. Wolf has been putting pressure on that entire race, but we can't away with it. Just have a look through the other drivers there, and when we do,
Look at him, he's
something
pulling
always
away.
happens.
He's pulling
No,
away.
Has he got some engine
I
damage,
think
potentially?
something's happened. Something's got to have happened to Gaza. I don't know why he's suddenly lost this much pace this quickly. And the fact he was able to I mean, obviously when Dylan was behind Gaza, obviously Dylan was able to keep up, but Gaza was lapping at the same pace as Dylan. Like there was maybe a tenth between them, and now all of a sudden look at him, he was about a second, now he's 2 seconds.
Well, he kind of got damaged because there is no damage on the car. We'll see if he comes in the pit lane. I'm wondering, is it engine? Has he got engine damage potentially that we don't know about?
Yeah, a low radiator maybe, but it couldn't have got that high already. It has to be about 20% engine damage. That's when it starts causing issues. He doesn't come in.
So maybe he's just struggling. Maybe the tyres have just got at that point. He's closing back up now, but it's about 1.4 seconds back on. There is Tinners closing up.
Yeah, he's lapped a full second slower.
Then we've got Leo and Coco. Behind them, we've got a huge scrap meanwhile down there for ESS, De Thomas, and Big Kid Daddy. So they've really just really begun their battle again. And unfortunately, we were fearing this might happen. There might be some gaps, and they're starting to form right now in the middle of this race. But up front, potentially issues growing for your second place runner, because Gaza seemingly has an issue.
Yeah, it does seem to have an issue. I was just looking at the chat. I know this is going to be very random, but Nightbot, our little mod who gives links and all that to AOR, I have no idea what language he has just spoken in, but he seems to be on something because he's not speaking in English anymore. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Nightbot. He's clearly drunk and needs to go home. But yeah, Gaz has lost a lot of pace.
Indeed, well,
yeah, Nightbot's doing some weird stuff right now.
Well, he's speaking. I don't. If someone could translate that language and let us know in the chat, it would be good. Will they get to the bottom of what language he's speaking in it? I'm going to say it sounds like some kind of language I don't know. Gibberish. I'm going to say. Oh, Wolf's gone off. What's gone up? He's
well,
made a mistake
is...
in the chicane.
Yeah.
And I just saw it there as we were looking. He just hopped over the second part of the chicane. Now they're side by side then. Down towards Mobile 1. And again, Gaza, this is what he did, I think, potentially the last couple of laps. Wolf having a look around the outside. Won't do it there. Has to sit back. But he just made a small mistake. The rear end stepped out. I just spotted it there. And now he's just trying to come through again. It just seems like it's that corner. Mobile 1 is catching all of these drivers off guard.
It certainly is, and now this has opened it up because look at the gap behind. 2.6 seconds, well 2.3 for Dylan. Tinnis is catching these guys. And Dylan can't be afforded to be having a battle with two drivers like this. He needs to just... Oh, it is actually Tinnis comes in. Strange, okay then. So he must be looking for the undercut. Dylan would have noticed that. So
it's only going to trigger them. They've got to come in, I imagine.
I reckon Dylan should come in now because he's going to hold himself up battling with Gaza here. He has got more pace. Just look at the speed.
He's having a look up the inside. He's got less downforce. Now he blasts straight past it into the lead of the German Grand Prix. Gaza just about tries to cover it. Can't do it there. Wolf leads then here in Hockenheim. What he needs to do, he's got less downforce, it seems, than Gaza, and he's using it to his advantage. He leads here at the Os, down towards the Os curve here on that 13 of 28, and we have a ding-donger of a race right now for the lead.
Yeah, it's I keep calling him. Why am I getting everybody calling Gaza today or Jazzman? Dylan needs to pull away, which he is exactly doing. He needs to use that low downforce setting to his advantage. Use that speed. Tinnis has come back. How? He's behind Boy Raxel. That's going to throw it up in arms for Tinnis because now he's got a fast driver in front of him. And it's only by a second almost, but Dylan needs to come in. He can't be staying out because Tinnis is slowly going to start catching back up again. So Dylan needs to put the hammer down, come in, and then start nailing it in the second half of the race now because Tinnis has been caught out here and he's got Boy Rax in front of him. Tinnis actually makes a mistake there. So Dylan's got a lot to play for here because he seems to be faster than Gaza, which is a good thing. So he's in a good position. He just needs to pit.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Vectro taking positions away from Kevin Miles, or it's the other way. Kevin Miles trying to take positions away from Vectro. So those two battling themselves down at the back. Keeping an eye on the mini-map, seeing are we going to see any of those guys in the pit lane. Kevin Miles is having a look down towards the Os curve. Is he? Surely not around here. This is very brave. He has to have a massive overspeed. This is going to be brave. Vectro's going to back out of it. Nothing he can do. Has to do it. And Gaza in the pit lane. He's the first one. He has to react to his teammates.
He's reacting to Tinnis as well. I mean, that was Coco in the background there, but I'm surprised Dylan hasn't. Where's Tinnis? Okay, so Tinnis has just come. Okay, this could be close. This could be very close. Where's Gaza? Is he coming out? Gaza's coming out, and there's the pit line, so he can start accelerating much earlier.
Tinnis lost a huge amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, Gaza's going to be slower here. Well, they haven't even got to turn one yet. There they are. If that's where Gaza's come out, in terms of position, Dylan's going to have loads of time against these guys. So Dylan needs to get... I reckon either Dylan's going to leave it a lap... maybe this lap he may come in, or he might leave it another lap. But he's got the pace, so we can afford to leave it a bit later. Because look at where Gaza's come out. Dylan's definitely going to have a nice, comfortable gap. Nice little battle here. To Thomas, very feisty.
Yeah, to Thomas looking feisty, Big Kid Daddy, and that is Camo. The battle for the last position, all but the two that have retired from this race, meaning it isn't last position. But nonetheless, we are here on that 13 of 28, with 28 laps still to come for the drivers. And Thomas, where he is going, as he's battling away with Big Kid Daddy. Behind them there is ESS and Camo, who is in the middle of no man's land there, who is very much last position in this race. And ESS is not last position, even though the second to last bar the two out of the race. So, battle going on here, and look at Big Kid Daddy's massive toe. He gets out of the corner. He's getting a good exit. As De Thomas now under pressure from ESS. ESS having a look down the inside towards the Clark chicane. That'd be a very brave place to do it, down the inside. Ooh. I think De Thomas has gone straight on.
Off. Oh, that's a big off. There was contact between the two of them, wasn't there? And I think he got turned left hit the grass.
And
Uh-oh.
that's front suspension.
That seems like a retirement to me. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and
Dylan's
13
in.
runners. Yeah, Dylan in. Exactly on cue, I suppose, actually. So I suppose the Thomas has sent us to the pit lane where Wolf comes in. So that is...
Leonardo and Coco will stay out. No surprise
Coco
there.
will be on the podium again. Now, where is Gaza? Wolf is coming out already. Gaza.
Oh, this is going to be close. Where's Gaza? I can hear him coming. There's Gaza. This is going to be very, very close. Gaza's carrying, but he's leading. How has he done that? The undercut clearly works. Dylan's... Well, he's come out between the two Snake United's cars, but... That's a big gap, that's 2 seconds.
I think what must have happened is, unless Wolfie made a mistake as he dropped that gap ever so slightly, last lap 2:13, that's not a representative lap time, of course, compared to Gazzy, it was 2:23, but it'll be interesting to see what this lap will be compared to, of course, the fast and always optimistic Gaza, who's done so far so good this season. Only one driver from penalty, by the way, that is Skull, who has a grand total of 1 second penalty, I suppose. Today, at least he hasn't got the 40 he did the other week, where the other couple of races where he had a bit of an issue, but he has an odd one. Gaza, look, the gap's already coming down. Look, watch here. It's when I say it comes down, it goes up. Now
it's
it goes
going.
down.
Yeah, Gaza's got a lot more speed now. But now it starts to come back down. It's very strange. This is being tossed between the two guys. One guy ends up going a little bit slower, and then the other starts going a bit faster. This is very strange. I don't know if they're toying with each other or if it's the car. But yeah, I was not expecting the gap to be that big, and in fact, Boyrax is now catching up to Dylan. So a four-way battle for the lead by the looks of it potentially, but the gaps. Dylan's not closing up to Gaza, but Dylan is being caught up to by Boyraxa.
Top 2, Leonardo, who leads this race, and behind him you'll just see, not what I was saying, it's a Ferrari. Second place right now. He's doing a beautiful job. Yes, he's still yet to come in the pit lane, but it still looks to me like it's going to be the top 7 for a Ferrari, because behind them there, Cameron's got a penalty meanwhile down the back. But he's doing a phenomenal job. Meanwhile, Kevin Myers is closing up to Skulls there by a second a lap. Skull not having the best of time. Behind him, Vetto's losing a second a lap. So, looks like those two Audis starting to drop back in this race. Boyraxa closing up more and more and more, and a bit more than that even. He is now.
Yeah, he's very much catched up, yeah.
Rapidly.
I don't know what...
He's
dropping off, isn't he?
7. Gaz's last lap when he came out at 2:24.
2:23 even, but something's not right. Something seems to have changed on Dylan's car potentially, because I just don't see why he's going so much slower, because he had the pace before he came in. In fact, Boyraxa flashed his lights there by the looks of it. What's going to be interesting is where Leonardo and Coco are going to come out in this, because if they come out right in the midst of this battle, that's going to be very interesting to see how those guys are going to cope. Because it could potentially shake this up.
About a 24-second gap there, about 13 seconds. Come out round about just behind Tinners, give or take. You'll just see them eventually when they come out. But yeah, 2:07 to 2:08. These guys catching about a second a lap. Really, there was 2:06. It's 2:06.
There's Coco up there. To be fair, actually.
Yeah, you can see Coco. You can see actually them there, and then you can see there comes Gaza. There comes Wolf. There comes Boyraxa. Behind them there is Tinnus, who is not too far back as well. I remember, look, 2:06.7, 2:06.2 right now for Boyraxa, pardon me there, as he closes up more and more on his quest for getting that position.
Leonardo pits.
Yeah.
See where he comes out. He may come out behind. Where's Leonardo? He's currently in the pit lane, obviously. He's come by the chicane. Coco stays out for another lap.
Well, that means, though, I suppose, Ethan, a record. I mean, it's the first time in Tier 1 a Ferrari has led a race since Season 9, potentially. Unless I'm very much mistaken, but I believe not. I think it's the first time I've seen a Ferrari this high up for a long time. Leonardo does come out and...
Just behind.
I did say it wasn't going to come up too far behind Tinners, and well, it's a short stop. It's only about 10-second take stop there, because 13 seconds, about maybe 15 seconds he was in the pit lane. That is a incredible stop for him. Meanwhile, Byrax closing up
right
to
on the back now.
More and more.
Wolf's got an issue. He's lost so much pace suddenly. I don't know how it's happened.
6.2 low. He's not losing pace. He's trending up to gas.
What's going on? Something very strange is going on.
Very confusing right now. Strategies, times, tyre temperatures, all a little
Lewis
bit
is in
high,
again. Lewis has had an issue.
Let's see, yeah.
Yeah, that's definite crabbing there. He wasn't crabbing last time, but he certainly is now.
And again, struggles for him, and that most certainly should not be, well, it will very much be last position, I'm afraid, for him. He might be the first man to get lapped if he's not too careful. Well, meanwhile, Wolf under pressure by Raxa. Raxa getting closed up bit by Tinnis. Leonardo is catching Tinnis ever so slightly as well, it looks like there, because that gap was about 3.5 seconds. It's right now just under 2 and a bit seconds. So, closing up, and this is turning into a little bit of a barnstorming race, but up front, Coco, who's definitely coming in the pit in this lap, because if he stays out a little bit more, I think he's going to lose any opportunity to come back later on.
Yeah, he needs to come in now, because he's battling with Leonardo, and he still doesn't come in.
Maybe he just wants the record of leading an entire lap, which he is now going to lead an entire lap. So well done to Coco for leading an entire lap for Ferrari. That's the first time since season 9, give or take. We've seen that one. Well done by a couple of attempts.
Yeah,
3-6-1. They're catching Jazmat, even I'm doing Gazza. There we go.
Both Boyraxa and Dylan, they are both lapping pretty much within a tenth of each other. That's going to reel him towards Gaza now, slowly. Because this is basically the top 3 right here.
Indeed, incredible stuff for them, and they can see, in your eyes, the top 4 drivers, might I say, because you'll just be able to see there is Coco, behind them there is Gaza, then comes Wolf, then comes Byrax, and behind them a little bit further back is Tinas and Leonardo, who must have been off the road somewhere because he suddenly dropped back a huge amount of time. At last lap 2:22, that was his in lap, of course, so we'll see what this lap will do. ESS, meanwhile, down the back, closing up on his teammate Camo, so those two have switched around somewhere. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but it must have been, this must have gone off somewhere because he was way ahead of Camo. So at least Camo isn't last now, I suppose, to say. But it is Wolf, Gaza, and Byrax are closing up rapidly, I might say, on that Ferrari.
Yeah, I think he may notice the fact that those guys are coming very, very fast. So it'd be a good chance to come in. Dylan is setting himself up again. This is exactly what happened before he started pitting. He's up again. He's got nowhere to go though.
Yeah, he's a wily old coyote, Wolf is right now. He's not having issues. He's not doing bad, and right now he's doing a phenomenal job. Touch wood, I must say, as long as he doesn't go and throw it away, which I said he loses the rear end ever so slightly. But let's see on what we come. We should see all of a sudden that Ferrari in. There we go. Pulls to the right. Behind them as well, Byrax, and this is going to be a free-race tussle. Ethan for the lead of this race. Remember, Tinnis as well isn't too far back. If these guys end up making trouble or end up taking each other off, this is all going to allow these guys to come through.
It very much is. Obviously, Boyrax right on the back of Dylan and Kia, but Dylan's got that toe up front. Just look at him. He starts pulling away. So I think Boyrax and Gaza are running slightly more downforce. But that's really only going to help him in the final sector, really. I wouldn't say it helps him anywhere down here because this is more mechanical grip. This, look at, they're only doing about 60 miles an hour through here. So that high downforce I don't think really works here because it's not really getting them anywhere. I gotta say though, Boyraxa does do a 2:05.8 last lap. To be fair though, he does have a double toe in front of him, so it does make sense that he's able to go that quick. But these guys have just got nowhere to go. It's a line of stern.
Make sure you don't make trouble. Make sure nothing goes wrong. And right now, this is all helping Gaza. Gaza we've established this, we've seen it before. He helps his teammate a lot. This is what they did last time out in, remember at Bugatti, though, Le Mans, they both did this and it ended up really very much annoying Tinnis. He got very, very frustrated and flustered. It's happening again. Oh, Tinnis Byrax has made a mistake there, ever so slightly on the curb, and right. Not what he wants to be doing it, because he had a good opportunity, and look, because Tinnis is, what,
he's closing.
6-3. He's closing up. Wolf again, you can see, no way through. He's stuck behind, unless he makes
he's looking. Ooh, he's definitely putting the pressure on. I think he's sick and tired of sitting behind Gaza, because that was a very late lunge, that. Oh, yeah. I can't, got a lot of oversteer on the rear, that, so... The car turns in well, judging by the fact that the rear end steps out a little bit. So that'll be helping Dylan get the car turned in. He's just got to control that. Just seems to struggle a little bit there, though. Obviously, there's the downforce will be helping him there. The other two cars at least. But Tinnis is slowly catching these guys. Look at them. Top three, all within. They're all in the 206.4. As then Tinnis, that's 2/10 faster.
Here as well, look, 206.5 is very wide for Leonardo. He pops out of the shot, but again, look, you see, he can't. Poor Rob Boy Raxer right now. He's stuck behind him. This is beautiful stuff. This is a slipstream train, and we normally love to. I don't see it very much. Slipstream train. Wolf's having a look up the inside. Hey, he has a look. He's down the inside there. Through can he come then? He'll be very close. He'll have the inside line. Gazza's forced wide by Raxer ahead as well. That has gone from worse to worse than that. It's gone horribly wrong there, and Wolf leads now again in Germany. Same place he did it a couple of laps ago, Ethan.
Yeah. Dylan very, very reluctant on the brakes there. Almost like Gaza had the opportunity to come back through, but Dylan just let off the brakes, sent up the inside. I think there may have been slight contact, but Dylan had the racing glide. Gaza just had nowhere to go. He had to concede the position. There was no way he was going to stick his car up the inside there when Dylan had the better line through the corner. That means now, though, that Gaza and Boyrax can work a bit together now, because obviously Dylan's got no toe in front of him. So that, I mean, that high downforce may still help him a bit, but he hasn't got a toe now. So he just needs to work on his exit out of the corners, make sure he gets that drive out of the chicanes, because then he'll be able to use that straight line advantage, which he does so now. Look at the gap coming up a little bit. This is where they should catch back up, though.
Just trying to spot, we had a car off the road, though. Is that Kevin Myers going slowly all of a sudden? Yeah, it was Kevin Myers going slowly, because he was quite a way up. It was a jam. Now he's all the way down here. So, Vectro closing back up there in the battle for those guys. I just noticed that on the telemetry at the Clark corner. Closing up. Meanwhile, top three still together. And it's Wolf now leading here in Germany. Boyraxer in second. Gaza in third. Then comes Tinnis sitting behind comfortably in the Lamborghini in fourth. A place where we weren't expecting him to be right now. And look at the exit speed. Here comes Boyraxer. But now it'd be interesting because Wolf's not got that toe. He's not got really what is helping him so far this race is that toe, and you'll just see, is he closing up? No, he's pulling away still. He's got no downforce. Yeah,
Dylan, well, he may be, it's not just downforce, it's the suspension geometry. If he's running lower camber angles, he's able to brake better in a straight line, which most of these corners are a bit loose there. He'll also have better acceleration out the corners. Tinnis is slowly catching. Yeah, he's very much putting it to good use, but I mean, he did lap just a tenth faster than Boyraxer. Well, just a little bit less, but it's pretty much line of stone. There's not that many laps left, about 7 laps. All Boyraxer just losing it at rear there a bit. That's not helped him whatsoever. In fact, he's going to drop a position potentially. He is going to. It's going to happen. Gaz is pulling alongside. Are these two teammates going to battle out, or are they going to switch positions? It looks like there's going to be a switch of positions, yeah. Boyraxer does indeed let his teammate back through. He is the championship leader, so it's best to let the championship leader gain the more points. It would make sense from a team's perspective, but second position in the championship is not too far behind that top 3 evil. Tinnis is slowly catching up now. He's slowly catching up.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've still got battles going on throughout the field. It's a good race, to be fair. This is coming out to be a little bit of a barnstorm of a race. We had a few races of silence and drama-less races recently. Of course, we had the Quito. Fantastic race. We had, of course, Le Mans, which was a very nice race indeed, to say the least, of drama and excitement at the end of this race, and definitely with strategies. And right now, the Mercedes are putting on a show around a circuit which Mercedes, of course, in real life, brought for the F1 just to host a race and didn't end well for them. Well, this is redemption, I imagine, even around on project cars.
Yeah, very much it is redemption. Dylan, that gap is pulled up now. He can't afford a mistake now. It's too late in the race to be making mistakes now. He's put his setup to good use. Look at the gap he's brought out. Gazza and Boyrax, they're just going to have to work together because Tinnis is slowly catching up again. That gap's only about 2 seconds. They could work together to try and catch back up to Dylan, but I just don't see it happening. Dylan's just got that better straight line speed, so I think these guys are just going to be using each other to finish in the top 3 because they can't allow Tinnis to get by, because otherwise he's going to start catching up to Gazza. There's a 13-point gap between them in the championship. Gazza needs to finish in front of Tinnis, and Tinnis cannot finish on the podium.
It's a free shot, remember that.
We've had another retirement, by the way. Lewis is retired.
Yeah, now that, to say, is his fifth retirement in at least 8 races. He's only finished 3 of them so far, and he is not having any luck at all. We don't know what's happened, of course, but it seems Wolf's just thought made a mistake.
Oh, he's gone off.
But also his Boyrax has gone off as well. Exactly the same thing. He just snapped the brake on the front right. Front right, that's what he did the couple. That's what he must have done, Gazza must have done, Ethan, when they switched the first time around. It's so easy to do. We're not going to say it, Ethan, but Wolf, at the beginning of this season, said he was having no luck. And it is almost redemption day, potentially, here in Germany. He won at Chiquito in very familiar fashion, battling away. He took the lead in strategy, and he stayed there. And now, he has another chance of redemption here in Germany. He had a horrible time at Le Mans, and now he's back in vengeance. And if he doesn't, he will still finish at least in the top 4, as long as he doesn't end up piling into a barrier.
Yeah, he can't afford mistakes. This is exactly what I said. He can't afford mistakes this late in the race because he had nearly a 2-second gap. It's now gone below a second. So all that work has got to be redone now, because Gazza is within slipstream range, and in fact the gap is coming down. Looks like Gazza got a much better exit out of that chicane. I think Dylan's tyres might be done, you know. I think there might be a window for these tyres. The tyre temperature might be getting too high and he has to back off a bit, because that gap is, just look at the gap, is coming down. It's
coming down rapidly, and Tinnis is catching these guys at a rate of not 206.1. He's a second almost quicker than all of the guys behind him are seconds slower, apart from Gazza, who is give or take 9/10 slower. So, to say the least, these guys are catching, and we don't often see these guys all so close together. Mercedes. Then comes Tinnis. There he is, and he is closing rapidly right now. Bad exit from Gazza. That was a horrible exit from Gazza. Look, Tinnis is going to sliver around the outside. He's got no choice. He's going to have to force his teammate to go defensive here. This is not working in the slightest. Now he has to back off. This is compromising his line.
It's a good choice. And there's no point battling, especially with Tinnis behind. There is 0 point. They want to secure as many points as possible, really. That's the best option. Tinnis has got 5 laps. Well, this lap and a couple extra afterwards to do what he needs to do to get by, without causing any issues this time around. He can't afford another 20-second penalty added on. He needs to snap out of the silly mistakes and cause silly contact that doesn't need to happen. Dylan, meanwhile, in the worst part of the track, for him at least, in the part where he needs the aero grip and the aerodynamics to help him along, hasn't got it here. But if he gets a good exit, which he does so by the looks of it, I did pick up very quickly. Time picked up very quickly. Can he? Oh, that was a bad lap from Dylan, that lap. 207.2.
207 dead. 207.6. 206.0 pretty much. 206.2 I might say. He's a second quicker. And Tinnis is joining now. Look. There is Boyrax again. He's closing up on Gazza. And for a second I thought he had a little lurk there, but decided to back off. But Tinners is now within 2 seconds. And Boyraxer, I think, wants to get ahead of Gaz. Gaz is holding Boyraxer up, I feel.
Yeah, but you can't let Gaza fend off Tinnis. Tinnis is only 13 points behind Gaza. Boyraxer needs to perform the role of just keeping Gaza in front, because Dylan's not really pulling away. The gap's come down again. Dylan could be backing him up into Tinnis to try and break away potentially.
That's a risky strategy, though, because remember, if any of these guys end up getting past Wolf, Wolf's going to be overtaken by 1, 2, 3 cars. Remember how easy it is to lose positions here rather than gain them. And right
Tinnis
now,
dropped off a bit though this time around, but he may have a slight toe though. How far behind is he? Behind Boyraxer?
Well, he's only about what, 7 tenths, 8 tenths.
8 tenths. Yeah, he's within slipstream range now.
He's definitely there. He's definitely closing. We've got just under 6 laps to go here in the Hockenheim ring, here in Germany. The top 4 battling together here with just over a few and a bit laps to go around the circuit that most people read off was going to be a ball fest. A ball fest, they said. Well, right now we've got a barnstormer of a race, and this you could cut the tension with a cricket stump. Almost. As here is Gaza losing the rear. He caught it there. He's sliding. He wants to get through. He's trying. Boyraxer is close. Tinnis is here. He's only 3 tenths in the Lamborghini. No one expected the Lamborghini to be here. He's so far doing godly stuff. And right now, Wolf, he begins the 25th of the 28 laps here, and Gaza 2 tenths up, Boyraxer 2 tenths up, and then behind them, Tinners, it takes another 7 tenths, a lap out of it, and he is surely a man on a mission.
He is certainly. He's a lone Italian stallion driver. It would be nice to see what Jazzman could have done in this. He claimed he had good race pace. It would have been nice to see a potential top 5 battle for it. That's not happening, but it's still a decent battle. You can just see the Mercedes just has the advantage here. Tinnis just not able to capitalise on the well, because obviously he gains all that time in the final sector, but all that just goes away here on the long straights where the Mercedes just is able to pull away. No surprise there, obviously, just look, it's the top 4 is 90% of it is at least Mercedes. My calculations are probably wrong, but 3 out of the 4 is Mercedes, so a quarter actually then. But
indeed, Wolf leads. Still, Gaz a bad exit again. He gets a horrible exit out of Yacht's curve every single time. Right now, look, Tinnis is out to drop back. He's forced to drop back. He can't get that close. He just gets so close and then loses all of the grip. These guys are just stuck in a dirty air train right now, and they're just pulling each other away. And meanwhile, down the back, we've got Big Kid Daddy battling away with Kevin Mars. We won't have a look at that because right now, the battle of the season, the battle, I must say, of anything is going on between
Tinnis
Wolves.
has had an issue. Tinnis has lost time. Look at the time he's lost.
Yeah, he's got a mistake. He might over the curb. I must have locked the front right. He almost exactly what Wolf
I
did.
think that might be gone now. His chance for a podium may be gone. That gap has opened up too big now. And there's only a few laps left. I think that might be Tinnis' race done there. Unless something between these 3 happen. And they are so close, anything could happen. Gaza may just get bored of seeing the back of a Mercedes and just send it. But is it worth the risk?
Well, remember, behind them, Tinnis is dropping back. Championship will go even more towards Gaz's favour. In fact, I think potentially he can wrap it up next week in Algarve, the penultimate race and the final race of the decade, I might say, for AOR.
That'll be Spa.
I think Spa, of course, is 2 weeks' time from that. It'll be in January, so...
let me double check.
It is in January, so... unless I'm very much mistaken.
Oh my goodness, it is in January, yes. So Algarve will be the final race of the year. What decade?
Up. Closing up again. Wolf, a little bit of a mistake there. Gaza as well. They're all making a mistake. Tinnis still has an opportunity, as long as he doesn't drop too far back. But see, there he is there. You can just see the yellow mustard Italian stallion. A very interesting thought, I must say. But 26. We've got the 27th, the penultimate lap, and the 28th and final lap ready to come for the drivers. Wolf still leads here in Germany. Gaza is still second by Raptor again. Good exit again. He's just got monumental speed on the exit of this corner. And you wonder if they switched, could have Boy Raxa had a look at Wolf. They were so close to a battling later on. Remember, Boy Raxa had damage earlier on. And he was stuck behind Gaza, who is just stuck behind Wolf. Very close there. Almost, I thought, touched Wolf. They're getting awfully close even. And this is only just the adrenaline must be rising here in the cockpit. It is rising in the commentary booth.
Yeah, my heart is starting to flutter a bit because something could happen and it could be for the worst. See, does Gaza want to let his teammate by, or is those two battling with no team orders? Because if they're battling with no team orders, anything could happen, but Boy Raxa, he's done well to come back from the, well, because obviously he must have had some damage, obviously, because he was crabbing a lot. He's done well to come back to third position, but if he's going to make a move, he's got to do it in such a manner that is not going to impede his teammate. It's just whether it's going to be worth it.
To go. Here in Germany, Wolf still leads. Just 0.4 of a second. Gaza, second. Racer, third. This year, they're all separate by 0.4 of a second. Tinnis is dropping back. Looks like his challenge is over. But never say never. Anything will happen, because remember, these guys have been getting so close and Wolf's making a few mistakes here and there that any one of them could just throw each other off the line. You can see how defensive Wolf's going. He's got no grip down there into what really is the main braking zone. He's covering the inside line. He knows, Wolf knows surely that Gaza, if he's close enough there, he'll have a lunge on the last lap. He has not got to make a mistake now. He's got 1.5 laps to go.
Yeah, he very much does so. Gaza, at any opportunity, will probably go for it, and there's no blame there. But he always seems to get a bad line and a bad exit out of that corner there. That just gives Dylan some breathing space. So he just needs to hook up that first sector, hook up that first chicane, and then he should be good, because that second chicane, Gaza gets a really bad exit. He just seems to drop off a bit. But yeah, we can't afford any, these three drivers cannot afford any mistakes. It's been a good race. I wasn't expecting Hockenheim to provide like this. You see, look at it. See, just look at how much better Dylan is in Sector 2 compared to Gaza. That gap opens up. This is exactly what Dylan needs to do the next lap in order to win. Here we go through Mobile 1 for the penultimate time, pretty much. Just one more time around this legendary circuit. It's had a few crashes here and there, none fatal, thank the Lord, none of them too dangerous, just a few small taps here and there. But the top three round, the final corner, the crowd roaring with passion. They cross the line even for the final lap. The final lap, this is where it all counts. Who's going to win?
Gaza's 5/10 down. This isn't good. He's under pressure really from his teammate right now. Boy Raxa, he's just too far back. But Wolf, in his first of 2 victories he's had this season, is on the second one. Potentially he's still got a couple of corners, well, really about 7-8 corners to go on this 13 corner circuit. But right now, he needs to manage, he needs to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. He does the first of 3 chicanes correctly. He's through the Clark chicane. He battled hard, he raced valiantly, and we've still just got a couple of sectors to go. It's still close. 7/10. Gaza's dropping back ever so slightly. Wolf's pushing on hard. Behind them, Boy Raxa's looking. Wolf, he managed to do the Oscar. What about Gaza? Again, a bad exit for him, but a better exit than Boy Raxa this time around, at least 2. And now it's gloves off between them. Can anything happen? They've got down towards the center chicane, named after Ayrton Senna in 1994, after he tragically died in Imola. Gaza in second. Wolf leads. He's only got to manage this corner, and then he has to manage the infield section. A bit of a mistake this time around for him. Look here as Boy Raxa closes up on his teammate Gaza, as they're going to have a battle, and it's do or let die with just over a sector to go here in Germany. But Wolf comes through then, the penultimate couple of corners. He comes through Mobile 1. for the last time. You can hear the roars, you can hear the cheers in the background. He comes through the off curve for the last time. He has 2 corners to go. He took the lead from Gaza. He battled hard. Through he comes then, through where the drag strip is, through the last corner. Gaza fights for every bit he has. So does Boyraxa. But Wolf comes to the line. He wins the German Grand Prix. Gaza second. Boyraxa third. Tinus in the end fourth. He got a penalty as well. Leonardo is going to finish in 5th position. He's coming through the last couple of corners. He can't believe the race he's had either. He had a torrid start. He took there as well. He's going to finish down in 5th position, but a beautiful race for him. Behind them as well, and we must say a driver I was not expecting anywhere up here, Jam and Coco. Jam from the back of the grid at that number 1 is going to get himself up to 7th position. Coco through to the last corner, he finishes 6th. Jam 7th. And then Big Kid Daddy and Kevin Myers were waiting for that ESS Victor and Camo. But what a race! Wolf wins the German Grand Prix. At long last, he reaches his dream of winning his 2nd race this season.
Yep, he's done it. Dylan wins for VSR once again. Fends off the championship defender, last season's champion and potential champion this season. He's done it once again. Absolutely brilliant stuff there. I'm sure the VSR team will be very much impressed with his performance. Gaza and Boyraxa fought valiantly, but I'm sure they can't complain about 2nd and 3rd. That's a very good performance from the team. Tinus for the Italian stands finishes 4th. The championship standings are going to open up even more. Jazzman definitely not in the championship battle anymore. Will not even gain any points this season. Well, in this race at least, anyway.
Gaza, Boyraxa going in for motion. There was a Ferrari there. And, that was a little bit close there. The Ferrari,
it did well, didn't it?
When we say they can't go 3 wide as well, they managed to go 3 wide just about at the end. But VSR Wolf wins his 2nd race here on Germany in the most beautiful race I've seen for a long, long time. Gaza in 2nd, Boyraxa in 3rd, Tinus in 4th, Leonardo ahead of Coco in 5th and 6th, Jam in 7th, Big Kid Daddy in 8th, Kevin Myers in 9th, ESA in 10th, Vectro down at 11th, Camo in 12th, Skull did not finish, De Thomas did not finish, Papano did not finish, neither did Jazzman. And, well, I must say, like, Ethan, surely the race of the season has no question of doubt about it. And, well, we can already speak to the man who has won his 2nd Grand Prix, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Dillon. You won on a circuit where you struggled, you said, before you took the lead. You very much stayed there in the hardest fought battle of your entire life.
That was yeah, it was pretty hard fought. I'm not sure if it's the hardest in my life, but yeah, I mean, I changed my setup slightly from the practice race yesterday, and as you can see, it's paid off. I think I mean, obviously, you know, at the beginning of the race, I was really just sort of sitting behind Gaza, sort of trying to, because I wasn't too sure if once I got past him, whether he'd just draft back past me. So I just waited for the mistake to present itself at first. Then I lost the lead myself for a mistake I made. And I got it back. And then when I pitted, I got something like a 6 or 7 second pit stop. So, which was clearly a lot longer than other people in the lobby had, because I lost so much time there. And I had to go and do it again. But, and then I had to defend towards the end of the race as well. The car, I don't know whether it was a change in track conditions, whether it was in my head, but it felt so much more slippery. So it was definitely a lot harder in the second half. But that was a fun race.
You fought valiantly with every ounce of power you had. Did you expect to be up there winning the German Grand Prix? Were you expecting that?
I was expecting to be competitive, but I wasn't sure if I was going to win or not. but I'll take it.
Indeed. Well, looking to see where the other drivers are joining, but right now no one has done so. Well, never mind. I say Devonins as Byraxa joins us then from the podium as well, and third position to Byraxa, and the most probably hard race he's had from the back of the grid to come all the way up to the podium as well from damage at the very start. Byraxa, what happened out there?
Well, I kind of brake a couple of feet, maybe 1 or 2 feet late, and I kind of realised I was going too fast into it, so we stay on the brake, and I hit the right hand side curve, which picked me up 2 wheels, kind of put me into a half spin, but then I kind of understeered, put away on the grass, and it was completely spun me around. Apologise to anyone who got caught up in that, but then I just pitted and gave it my all, quarter laps every lap, and I noticed that I was doing 205s, and the leaders with 207s, high 206s, and I thought, if I keep doing this, there's a chance. I just tried to be as consistent and as fast as I could, and next thing I knew, I was right up at the front again.
Yeah, right at the end of the race, how you got a little bit caught up behind Gaza, got a bad exit at the Oscar. Are you just told to keep formation, or are you just not wanting to pass or something?
Towards the end, the rear tyres had no grip, so every time you tried to push into a braking zone, the rear end would come out and you nearly spin. I nearly spun it about over 7 times, so it got to about lap 26, lap 27. I wasn't past cars, there wasn't really a chance I could get Wolfman as well, so I kind of just settled for third.
Indeed. Well, to the second position, this is in the real order of podium. It is Gaza. You took pole. Your rival Jasmine disconnected right at the beginning. Unfortunately, we'll never know what could happen there. But the most possible hardest battle you've had in AOR this season?
Yeah, it's a shame about Jasmine. That, to be fair, you don't want to go over a race because of like a disconnect. I think it was it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough race. Wolf's car's like a bullet down the street. Just like, see you later sort of thing. But yeah, the car was just like on edge throughout the whole race. Just felt completely different. No confidence like on entry, especially into like the chicanes. So yeah. I thought maybe I seen him have a couple of moments, and then thought maybe there's a chance he might, have a spin or something, but it materialised. So it was a good race though. Enjoyed that.
It definitely was. And downwards I go on the list of finishing positions. It is Coco. Ferrari, he was up on the podium for quite a while in that race. Unfortunately, it didn't materialise because everyone else started the slipstream train of dooming for you, but looked promising for quite a while, but still a beautiful position in the end there, in the top 7 positions. And how was it out there for you? Well, downwards you go. Big Kid Daddy, you had a monumental moment with one of the other drivers of ours, Thomas or Papano, one of the two of them. Take us through that very scary moment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, Papano definitely forced his way through at one point, and like we almost got glued together because he was just ramming into me. So I backed off and flashed my lights because in frustration. Then the one what finished it for me was it S Racing, I think, went off, and again I had nowhere to go. Got damage, had to come in for damage. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the performance. Just a bit frustrated with the result there because I felt like I had pace, for top 6 maybe, somewhere like that.
And it's a shame that you did a beautiful job as well. I had a good battle with Vectro and Kevin Myers a little bit later on in the race, and Vectro, who fortunately has not here to do interviews, but had a good battle with him there.
Yeah, it was a good battle, and I want to thank Vetro and Kevin Myers for some clean racing. That's exactly how to do it. Hard but fair, and yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
And back to Wolf, and I mentioned it, Redemption. The first part of the season you said was probably the worst season at beginning you've had for a long time. The second half has very much materialised into an arc of a story that's gone from strength to strength, and right now you're definitely on the chart in the championship.
I don't think I've got a chance in the championship. Maybe if it started at Sakito, but yeah, I guess you're right. It is Redemption from the beginning of the season. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say other than that. But I don't think I've got a chance in the championship now. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's always a possibility. Anything can happen, but it looks to me that Gaza mathematically can wrap it up next week in Algarve. And Ethan, have you got any words of praise to say to our drivers?
Just a fabulous battle. I was expecting this race to be a bit of a snooze fest, but it provided, once again, it was obviously very much a Mercedes festival, but it still provided good racing. I just kind of hope to see Jasmine next. I really think that could have spiced it up even more with tennis there as well. But other than that, it was a fabulous race.
Indeed. Well, Ethan, to you, who is your driver of the day?
Driver of the day. Can we have multiple drivers of the day? Because there was a lot of good drivers today.
One single driver. I'm going to put you on the spot.
This is a difficult choice. I'm going to have to go with Leonardo, definitely.
Yeah, Leonardo did a good job.
Leonardo did a very good job, yeah.
Indeed, and my driver today, surely it has to go to Byraxa, who out of... I was surprised at the end of the race. He almost could have won it. I almost would have written him off at the beginning of the race with the spin in the pit lane and all the issues he had, but managing to get third as well. And of course, we can't give an honourable mention to Coco as well, because that Ferrari was a beautiful machine and did good as well. And Wolf, of course, who won the thing. But I suppose next week, Ethan, we come to the final race of the decade at Algarve. Which really hits home. That makes me feel old, because that means I would have commentated for AOR for nearly 5 years, give or take, which makes me feel even older now. So until next week, and on that very much surprising bombshell, I have been Mr. Evil Dragon. Ethan has been Mr. Ethan. Thank you for Wolf